Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving deep into something that should make all of us deeply uncomfortable. The media's transformation from journalism to what can only be described as systematic stalking. And yes, I'm talking about the relentless boundary-crossing obsession with Harry and Meghan that has spiraled completely out of control. Picture this for just a moment. You wake up in the morning and there's already a photographer camped outside your home. You decide to take your children to the park. Helicopters circle overhead. You run to the grocery store for milk. Someone with a telephoto lens is hiding behind the cereal aisle. You try to have a quiet family dinner, and somehow photos of what you're eating end up on the front page of a tabloid. This isn't fiction, folks. This is the daily reality that Harry and Meghan face. Every single day, the media's fixation with the Sussexes has crossed every conceivable line of decency. We're no longer talking about covering their public appearances or their charitable work. We're talking about a coordinated campaign of harassment that treats two human beings like characters in some twisted reality show that never ends. Think about what we're really witnessing here. Their lives have literally become a treasure hunt for the media, where every mundane moment, every grocery run, every school pickup, every family beach day becomes the next exclusive scoop. The line between public interest and private invasion hasn't just been blurred, it's been obliterated entirely. Now let's talk about what this really means for Harry and Meghan as human beings, because that's what they are. Human beings with feelings, fears and families to protect. Imagine living your entire life under a microscope where your every breath is analyzed, dissected and sold for profit. The psychological toll of this kind of relentless surveillance is something most of us can't even begin to comprehend. We're talking about a high-stress game of cat and mouse that literally never ends, but it goes beyond just emotional strain. This constant stalking creates real safety concerns. When photographers are willing to chase cars through traffic, when they're using drones to peer into private properties, when they're following children to school, we're talking about genuine physical danger. The emotional burden of living in a perpetual state of hypervigilance, of never being able to let your guard down, of knowing that your children can't play in their own backyard without someone trying to get photos. That kind of stress would break most people. And yet Harry and Meghan are expected to just accept this as part of the job. Here's where things get really interesting, and by interesting, I mean absolutely infuriating. The media's selective outrage when it comes to privacy violations is breathtaking in its hypocrisy. When certain celebrities face paparazzi harassment, the response is immediate and overwhelming. Social media erupts with support. Think pieces are written about the importance of boundaries. Other media outlets condemn the invasion of privacy. The public rallies around the victims. But when it comes to Harry and Meghan, suddenly the same actions that were condemned as unacceptable harassment become justified as public interest. The outrage becomes muted, the support dwindles. The very same outlets that champion privacy rights for some celebrities are splashing stolen photos of the Sussexes across their front pages. Why this discrepancy? Some argue that Harry and Meghan asked for it by entering public life, but since when does choosing to serve the public mean forfeiting your basic human rights? Others claim their royal status makes them fair game. But should anyone, regardless of their background or status, be subjected to this level of systematic harassment? The same newspapers publishing editorials about the sacred importance of privacy are the ones printing intimate photos taken without consent. The same media personalities who cry foul about invasion of privacy when it happens to their favourites are silent when it happens to the Sussexes. This selective application of basic human decency sends a dangerous message that some people's privacy matters more than others. That some individuals, by virtue of who they are or what they represent, are less deserving of respect and dignity. Let's be brutally honest about what's driving this madness. The media industry operates on a simple economic principle: supply and demand. They supply what audiences consume. And unfortunately, there's clearly a market for invasion, for scandal, for the most intimate details of people's private lives. This has created a perverse business model where privacy violation isn't just tolerated, it's rewarded. The more invasive the photo, the higher the price. The more boundary-crossing the story, the more clicks it generates. The more harmful the harassment, the bigger the payday. The paparazzi aren't just photographers, they're professional stalkers who are financially incentivized to push boundaries, to cross lines, to escalate their invasiveness. And the outlets buying their content They're not just publishers, they're enablers of systematic harassment. But here's the uncomfortable truth. We, the audience, are part of this equation. Every time we click on an invasive article, every time we share a stolen photo, every time we engage with content that clearly violates someone's privacy, we're sending a message that this behavior is acceptable. We're contributing to the demand that drives this industry. This isn't just about Harry and Meghan, this is about the kind of society we're creating and the values we're endorsing. When we normalize the systematic stalking of individuals, when we treat other human beings as content to be consumed rather than people to be respected, we're setting a precedent that affects all of us. What happens when this becomes the standard? When anyone who achieves any level of public recognition becomes fair game for harassment, when privacy becomes a luxury that only the completely anonymous can afford, we're looking at the erosion of basic human dignity in real time. We're watching as the line between journalism and stalking disappears entirely. And we're all complicit if we don't speak up and demand better. So what can we actually do about this? The power isn't just in the hands of media executives or photographers, it's in our hands as consumers of content. First and most importantly, stop feeding the machine. Every invasive article you don't click on, every stolen photo you don't share, every piece of harassment content you don't engage with, that's a small but meaningful stand for human dignity. If something feels exploitative, trust that instinct and scroll past. Second, use your voice. When you see outlets promoting invasive content, call them out. Leave comments expressing your disapproval. Share posts highlighting their problematic behavior. Use social media to encourage others to stop supporting these practices. Your voice, combined with others, creates a chorus that's impossible to ignore. Third, support organizations and campaigns working to protect privacy rights and combat paparazzi harassment. There are groups fighting for stronger legal protections, for industry standards, for the basic recognition that famous people are still human beings deserving of respect. Fourth, change the conversation in your own circles. When someone shares an invasive story or a clearly stolen photo, don't just scroll past. Say something. I don't support this kind of journalism. It's an invasion of privacy. This feels more like stalking than reporting. These are real people with real families. Use hashtags like #LeaveThemAlone, #PrivacyMatters, #StopPaparazzi Harassment. Make posts that say, "Media, stop turning everyday life into a story," or "Stalking isn't reporting, it's harassment." Remember, in our digital age, attention equals money. Every click is a vote for the kind of content we want to see more of. Every share is an endorsement of certain practices. Every comment is engagement that drives algorithms and ad revenue. So let's vote for privacy. Let's vote for respect. Let's vote for journalism that informs rather than invades. Let's vote for a media landscape that treats all human beings with dignity, regardless of their status or fame. We have the power to shift these incentives. We can starve the beast of invasive media by refusing to feed it. We can create a culture where privacy is valued rather than violated, where boundaries are respected rather than crossed, where human dignity matters more than clicks and profits. The systematic stalking of Harry and Meghan isn't just about two individuals, it's a reflection of who we are as a society and what we're willing to tolerate. It's about whether we believe that fame or public service means forfeiting your basic human rights. It's about whether we think some people are less deserving of privacy, safety and dignity than others. The media's obsession with the Sussexes has revealed some uncomfortable truths about our culture, our values, and our complicity in systems that dehumanize others for entertainment and profit. But it's also presented us with an opportunity to demand better, to choose compassion over consumption, to value human dignity over digital content. Everyone deserves to live their lives without fear of being hunted. Everyone deserves the right to privacy, to safety, to basic human respect, and it's up to all of us to make sure those rights are protected, not just for Harry and Meghan, but for everyone. The choice is ours. The power is in our hands. Let's use it wisely. Thanks for watching, everyone. If this video made you think, if it challenged you to examine your own media consumption habits, or if you're ready to join the movement for more ethical journalism, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support through subscriptions, likes, and super thanks helps us continue creating content that tackles important issues like this one. Every super thanks donation, no matter how small, directly supports independent voices willing to challenge harmful industry practices and fight for human dignity. Share this video with friends and family who might benefit from this perspective. Let's start conversations that matter. Let's build a community that values respect over sensation, privacy over profit, and human dignity above all. What are your thoughts on media obsession and privacy rights? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember, small choices change incentives, and every choice you make matters.